160 laps for this race today. Shouldn't have any issues with the field windows. You see where the stages are at 55, 55, and the last stage at 15 laps. And let's not forget, we've got this new unique pit setup for today as well.
Starting lineups led by the front row of Zane Smith and Brett Moffitt. Well, hard to be picked against one of those two guys. Matt Preston, Austin Hill back in row 2.
What if I gave you the field and I took row 1? Would you be into that?
Yeah. I'd probably do it just because, but yeah, I think that wouldn't be too far off.
That's another row there, row 5. I've had my eyes on that. You talked about Johnny Slaughter. We know how fast their crowds have been. There's so many great stories. Friesen needs to turn his season around, and then a couple of youngsters here on row 8.
Well, Sheldon Creed ways back in row 9 with Ty Majeski. That's a strong row to be that far back in the field. Jordan Anderson, so much fun to watch. And then we see Spencer Boyd and Clay Creekhill in the number 16 truck.
33 trucks will line up for the green flag today, and completed by Roger Roos. Well, we showed you the playoff standings a little while ago, and Johnny Sauter has a lot of work to do. He has got to win to get in, Alan.
Yes, he does, and he needs a little bit of good news. So the good news is that we're here just outside St. Louis, because he tells me he loves this track. He says it drives like a high-speed short track he grew up racing on. 7 starts here, never finished outside the top 5. The bad news is, Vince, as you said, he's running out of opportunities to get that victory. His crew chief Joe Shear Jr. told me today that, look, there's no strategy. There's no going after the stage point. It's all about the victory. They think they can do it here today, guys.
Don't you love that, Vince? That at least you know one thing. You better go win.
Yep.
Isn't there going to be any strategy for that team?
Simplifies things, doesn't it? How about some of these cool onboard looks we're going to get today?
Yeah, that's Christian Eckes and Kyle Busch Motorsports Toyota. We got a good look at him, but then also talking about these corners being different, unique. How about the bumper cam that Rudy Fugalinus put aboard that 18 truck? We're going to have some great shots out the front.
How many guys do you think he's going to use that bumper on today? That's going to be a lot of fun to watch. As is this guy, Matt Preston. I feel like he's going to be very strong today. This is the kind of place where he can get ready for that championship battle and go to Phoenix. Similar racetrack. He told me earlier today he's going to be focused on getting that truck dialed in because of the similarities to Phoenix later this year.
Well, this is the final race of the Triple Truck Challenge. Remember, it's a $50,000 bonus to the winner. Now, Sheldon Creed and Zane Smith have already won the first 2 races of the Triple Truck Challenge. It would be a $150,000 total for one of those 2 drivers if they could win today. And if it's somebody else, well, they pocket an extra $50,000 for their efforts. Well, normally I pick the winner correctly each week, but last week, Michael actually got that honor. Who do you like this week, Michael?
I like the guy that I talked about at the opening with Brett Moffitt and the speed that that team has had. The job that he's done behind the wheel. I've talked about it being my championship favorite. He's going to win this race today, Regan.
Well, I just talked about my guy a few seconds ago, Matt Crafton. We're going to be riding out more than Matt on the racetrack today. The last race I called with you guys in Kansas, he broke the streak. I think he's going to start a new streak. When I'm calling the races with you guys, he's going to win them all.
Yeah, good luck. Well, we should say good luck to Todd Gilliland, because he's normally, he's going to be the guy that gets the curse, because I'm going to pick him today. But Gilliland has finished second here at Worldwide Technology Raceway the last 2 years. I think he takes the next step forward and wins today. How about you, Alan?
Vince, look, we've seen home ups with Christian Eckes. We've seen second place finishes with Christian Eckes. Today is the day he gets it done. First victory for that 18 truck.
Well, we're going to talk a lot about the playoffs today, and there's 3 drivers that are separated by just 9 points.
That is nail-biting time for these guys. These guys, Vince, I'm telling you, you can't hardly breathe when you're thinking about racing toward the playoffs and don't have hardly any margin for error.
And you want to get that win, you want to lock yourself in with a win, but you're also conscious of the fact that these guys are as close as they are. You got to worry about where your competitors are going to be this entire race long. You can't let that affect what you do in the long run, though.
And then, Vince, you also have to worry about those guys that haven't won yet. Back here that we just talked about, Johnny Sauter. He can put himself in victory lane and mess those guys' world all up.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is Nascar getting out the truck series at Gateway.
For his driver, Matt Crafton, he's back to victory lane today. What a beautiful day. and so glad that Mother Nature has cooperated with us. Zane Smith on the outside and Brett Moffitt on the inside. And we're green and racing. Trying to make time on the inside. And Christian Eckes and Derek Kraus with him on that bottom line. You can see Gilman trying to make a little move there, and he got some good momentum off turn 4 and is able to drive to the inside of Austin Hill.
I'm curious to see how that curve works up as this race plays along. I think the fact that he was able to use that already so early is going to be a good sign as we see him keep the position there.
You know, this is the new norm, Vince. I still can't imagine lining up and flying down into turn 1 with 30-some race trucks around you and not even been on the track yet. No practice. These teams just show that they've got the technology to bring trucks to the track that are ready, race ready and set up. And the drivers just have to adapt to all the traffic and the craziness that's going on there. Big move to the outside there by Eckes. The 26, Tyler Ankrum tries to answer on the bottom. Nice split slips up top. I love that move there by Kraus. Strong one on the outside.
Got a little bit of a question mark on many of these guys running with different spotters than we typically have for these trucks. The Cup guys didn't make it from Daytona today. We see some aggressive moves early on. That shows a lot of confidence in a guy that maybe you don't work with all the time. I love it.
Kraus still trying to work the outside. A lot of times this track is thought of more as a one-groove racetrack, but we've seen some side-by-side racing already.
Yeah, and I love that. I think it's time to just figure it out, see what's up there. I'm a fan of running up on the top, and you see Abrams following along with Kraus's move, so it looks like it's available to these guys, Regan.
Yeah, this early in the race, Mike, that's a good sign that it's becoming available already. It's only going to get better as the race goes on and as we work that top group in more and more. And I think Alan's got a little bit on the 19 for us.
Yeah, Regan, you were mentioning the spotters. The spotter for Derek Kraus in that 19 truck is actually David Hart, who spots for IndyCar driver Colton Herta. IndyCar also here this weekend. They had a race yesterday. They'll have a race later this afternoon. So Derek Kraus is a spotter. A lot of experience at this track already this weekend.
You know, a lot of times in this part of the country, we'll have temperatures in the 90s at this point in the summer. Today, very comfortable, mid-70s. The track conditions and the track temperature may rise a little bit as we go into the first hour and a half of this race, but it'll be interesting to see if guys start slipping and sliding around a little bit more as this race progresses.
Yeah, that's a great point, Vince, and those crew chiefs will be challenged down on pit road by this changing tracks. How do you adjust a truck, Regan, if it's handling perfectly, but then the crew chief sitting there saying, well, it's gonna change. We better be ahead of the curve on those changes.
Yeah, that's tough on a lot of these young guys, especially because they don't necessarily have that set of notes from coming here many different times to figure out what they think the track's going to do as it does adjust. And you got to remember, we're on a lot of nighttime races at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
There is Austin Hill in that blue number 16, followed by Matt Crafton in the 88. Crafton's teammate Ben Rhodes in the 99. This has not been a track where Hill has performed particularly well as far as finishing results in recent years, but he is a threat each and every time out. He is the regular season points leader. And remember, you win the regular season points title, 15 playoff bonus points come with that prize. Crafton on the inside, challenging Hill now.
That's a nice dive down into the corner there by Crafton. Is able to gas it up just in the center here there. Getting on the gas just to squirt himself just out in front of Hill and complete that pass.
Have some guys shifting down in 1 and 2 today.
Yeah, I would have to expect we're going to have some guys. I couldn't tell if Matt Crafton was right there just yet, but I definitely would anticipate a lot of guys shifting as this race works on.
Zane Smith continues to lead. There's Johnny Sauter starting to work his way up through the pack. Sauter started 9th today, has slipped back a spot to the 10th position. We ride along with Matt Crafton.
out there, grab the gear, go from third to fourth, and you actually heard him catch that rev limiter just a little bit. A lot of times in a race